Hello. Welcome to the Candidate Forum for Sacramento City Council District 7. The candidates in alphabetical order are Rick Jennings, Scott Lau, and Mark Velasquez. This forum is sponsored by the League of Women Voters, Sacramento County, and the Sacramento Metro Cable Television Commission. I am Mary Kay Williams, a member of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the moderator for this forum. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization of women and men. We work to encourage informed and active participation in government. The League does not support or oppose political candidates or parties. However, we are a political organization and we do, after careful study, take positions on ballot measures and legislation. If you are interested in public policy or just want to support our volunteer work, we invite you to join us. The format for this forum will be as follows. Candidates will have 1 minute for an opening statement. They will have 1 minute to answer questions in rotating order. Finally, speakers will have 1 minute for a closing statement. The timer today is League volunteer Lexi Tesh, and she will give you the 30 seconds left and the stop sign. We will begin with an opening statement from Rick.
Thank you, Mary Kay. What a great honor it is to be here with the League of Women Voters. I am very pleased that this is happening and the public gets a chance to see the three candidates. I've been your council member for the last 12 years, and I want to continue on because I am not done. There is more work that has to be done, and I want to make sure it gets done. I want to make sure we continue our pursuit of addressing homelessness, keeping our neighborhoods safe, investing in our youth and our seniors, and making housing more affordable than it is right now. So we'll talk more about that as the program continues to go on, but there are many other things we're going to talk about as well, but I just gave you 4 of my priorities that I want to move forward with. So I'm very happy to be here with my 2 contenders and look forward to a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you.
And Scott?
Hi, my name is Scott Lau. I was born and raised in Sacramento's District 7, the son of immigrant parents who worked long hours so I could have a better life. My father was a restaurant waiter from British Hong Kong, and my mom immigrated from China and now works for the U.S. Postal Service. Growing up in Land Park and Greenhaven, I attended local public schools and ultimately graduated from C.K. McClatchy High School. One day, on my way to work, I found myself stuck in traffic due to a confusing road project. I wondered, who makes these decisions and how can I fix them? I learned it was a city's planner doing and repeatedly reached out to our leaders to resolve the issue. That frustration resulted in my journey into urban planning. I enrolled in Arizona State University online while working full-time to earn my bachelor's in urban planning and my MBA from Texas A&M Corpus Christi to learn how business and government intersect. Today, I lead emergency planning for the state of California. I'm running because our city hasn't kept pace with its population growth. I am committed to dedicating my experience to serve Sacramento and improve our city to be safer, more affordable, and a place where everyone can thrive.
And Mark.
Thank you very much. The thing that I want to highlight is my experience. I've been a city attorney, a deputy city attorney, and general counsel to over 30 different public entities from fire districts to cemetery districts. So I've got the experience to do this job from day one, from minute one. I want to tell you why I've been called to serve. It's very personal. I've been called to serve because after the death of my daughter, and I'm using her death to spur me to do the things that the city has not done for the people, such as planning for affordable burial space. I got to tell you, I think it's time for some new blood on the council, and I want to focus on accountability and follow through from this council. This council's been great at planning things, but not so great on follow through, and I want to get things done.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the questions which were solicited in advance from the community, and we'll be starting with Rick. We know addressing homelessness requires multifaceted and budget-driven solutions at all levels of government. What are your short and long-term solutions, and specifically, why hasn't District 7 helped out?
So let's start with the District 7 helping out question. District 7 is pretty well built out, and there are many, not as many opportunities in District 7, but that hasn't stopped me from looking for additional opportunities to make sure that District 7 does play a vital role in homelessness in the city of Sacramento. I'm very pleased with some of the things that I'm seeing moving forward with our tiny homes and our small communities that we're doing with homelessness. And with that said, I'm pleased on that, but I also want to make sure that we continue to do more work in the mental health area, helping people to get stable and then move out of homelessness and move into our communities. And so that's where our work is to continue to make sure that they get full services, to not be servants of the state or servants of the city. And so that's what we're going to do, is keep working, giving them more services, helping them get out of homelessness, and making sure that they thrive.
And next is Scott.
My platform includes a three-tiered plan, and that includes helping people who are ready to accept the help, giving them rapid housing, making services more accessible for those who are in need for those mental health crises, and in addition, providing mental health care access for those who currently are unable to help themselves. So that three-tier step program, where we have a lot of people who are just living out of their car and working, and they're able, they give them rapid housing right away. And for those that really incrementally need the help as their situation exists, we provide those help for them.
And Mark.
Thank you. I think the question really focuses on what is District 7 doing as part of their role in the homeless issue. Each district has a little bit of a different need, but we all are part of the city, as the SACB has pointed out, that every single district needs to be doing their part. If we're built out, since we're, as Councilmember Jennings indicated, we're restricted on some land for, let's say, full-time or large homeless spots, but we have small spots. So we're just going to have to pivot to what District 7 can do and use the smaller locations for maybe shorter-term housing or the clinics versus the long-term housing. We have a part to do, and I think new blood would actually move it forward for District 7 in the city.
Next question. Do you see the need for the City Police Review Commission and other city commissions? If so, how can the city better use the expertise of community members who volunteer their time to make recommendations to the council that often are just received and filed? And we'll start with Scott.
Do I see the need to, can you repeat the question?
Do you see the need for the City Police Review Commission and other city commissions? If so, how can the city better use the expertise of community members who volunteer their time to make recommendations to the council that are often just received and filed?
A lot of the people who are in these police commission reviews bring a background of experiences, life experiences, work experiences, and everything. So it brings another perspective on how our people are seeing the police right now. And so as a result, I really value their perspectives and their time and, their volunteerism, their willingness to help out, because, we are able to, consider how's the public perceiving our law enforcement. Are they doing the right job? Is there room for improvement? What can we do to improve our services?
And Mark?
Thank you. I think the question's great because it points out that there is a historic and systemic resistance to these kinds of commissions. The fact that the question even phrased it in such that most of the time, the things that go before council are ignored. They go into the round file, as you mentioned. Yeah, I'm absolutely in support of a police review commission and other commissions. That's how we involve our community. But it starts from the top. The top have to accept and acknowledge and appreciate what the people are doing in these commissions. So if, if the city council and other large leaders or division leaders or police chiefs are not paying attention to the commission, that's a problem at the top that the city council can handle and can have an effect on. So I'm absolutely in support of commissions and getting the public involved.
Edric?
Thank you. I'm 100% in support of the Police Review Commission and other commissions working hand in hand with constituents from the community. Each one of us as a council member gets the opportunity to handpick a person that we want to go on these committees, on these commissions, and we pick those who want to continue to work. I started off on the school board, spent 12 years on the school board, then I moved into the city council, and so who knows what's next, but I'm not looking for anything next other than to serve right here on this council because I found the place that I think that I can serve the best. But that's what other people are trying to do as well. They're trying to find out how they can be a part of something greater than themselves, something where they can actually make a difference in the community that they live, work, and play in. And they want to be an example for all children who are watching them as well, because one day they will sit in the seats that we now sit in. So I'm 100% behind all the commissions, the police review, and other commissions as well.
Next question. The city and the county have had difficulties working together on important issues. What would you do to facilitate better coordination? And we'll start with Mark.
Thank you. I certainly have heard that the city and the county, especially on homelessness, have been more feuding than working together, and the solution has to be by working together. It's actually what the citizens want us to be doing. With my background as an attorney doing mediations, negotiations, I think my background lends to helping this discord, understanding that both parties need to come together, that it's a solution-oriented approach, not an adversarial approach. So in short, I think it's my background that's going to help move this along if I'm elected.
And Rick?
The opportunity to work with our council members, our supervisors can be a little difficult. They are in this building, we're down there in that building, but it doesn't stop us from working together. Some people may feel it is more difficult than I do. I work exceptionally well with my supervisors, not only the one that directly is where I live, but also the other ones as well, because I go reach out and make sure that I can have a conversation with them. As long as I don't do any violation of the Brown Act, I want to make sure that I'm able to have a relationship with them. They know exactly where I stand from. And I don't talk to them just when there's a matter on the table. I talk to them always, not only as a friend, but as someone who wants to continue to make a difference with them.
And Scott?
When it comes to a problem, and we have problems that are existent in our city and in our county, just talking and making follow-ups. Whenever we have a meeting with the counties, afterwards, we have next steps, have clear goals. What are we going to do? Right now, with the city and the county, we have a lot of silos. I want to make sure that we have reducing the redundancies of what these different departments in the counties and the cities have, and ultimately acknowledge the reality of how long this problem has been going. Are we going to continue stalling? Ask questions. Really follow up with these meetings, because we really need to set clear goal of what we're trying to achieve at the end of the day.
Next question. Signatures are now being collected to put ranked choice voting for city elections and safer streets, affordable transit on the ballot. Will you be supporting or opposing these ballot measures? And we'll start with Rick.
With Rick again, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will be supporting ranked choice voting. I think it's a unique way of looking at what the public thinks and what they want, and it doesn't always put the number one choice in the top position. So I will be supporting ranked choice voting, and I think it's a good way of us looking at what the people want as opposed to what we as politicians want.
And Scott?
I fully support ranked choice voting. Well, for one, there's a lot of issues on the table, and we need to, ask our people, residents, which one is more of a priority for them. We want to know which issues we want to tackle first. And so with ranked choice voting, we're giving our voters a chance to speak and voice and vent to us about what issues are most important to their agendas.
And Mark?
Thank you. I think it was about a week or two ago, I was out front of Raley's in Land Park and came across this petition for ranked choice voting for for this city. And I sat there and I read it for a while, and then I didn't sign it. So I'm a bit different here than my two colleagues here, and I know it's something that actually this league is putting forward. Two reasons I'm so far not convinced. Number one, I think it's going to make it more expensive for candidates to do their election, and to get more people running for election, for a better choice for people, we've got to make it less expensive, not more expensive for somebody to run. And the second thing is the idea that it's going to save money because we only do 1 versus 2 elections. I'm not sure if that's quite true. We're still going to have primaries, and that logic just would basically get rid of all primaries altogether if you apply that logic altogether. So at this point, I'm not for it. Thank you.
Next question. What is your position on the proposed county land development projects such as Grand Park and Upper West Side? We'll start with Scott.
In my perspective, everything has to be reviewed. We get the environmental impact report. We see all the impacts of all categories when it comes to developing county land. We have to make sure, is there traffic impacts? Are they mitigated? Are they no impact to the overall surroundings? In addition to many other factors, those are the things that before considering building on county land, we have to really, really consider everything. How are there adequate public transit alternative modes of transportation to that area? Because when we're building out into the rural areas, we want to make sure it's better planned, better connected, and best utilized before we go out to those areas.
And Mark?
Yeah, if the projects that I'm thinking of that you mentioned, it's the projects that are up to the north and near the river. Is that correct? Those two projects?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is another example of the county and the city not working together. My understanding is that the county's going forward, regardless of a previous agreement of certain land that's not supposed to be built on, and it's highlighting when you don't work together the problems that happen and how it really falls apart when the county starts building something without input from the city and vice versa. Again, it's got to be collaborative. The process apparently has fallen apart a little bit because of this distinction, and it has to get back to a relationship with the county, because doing it on your own in spite of your neighbor doesn't work.
Rick?
So I agree that you have to listen, and I think listening to the people where these parks are going to be is the most important thing that we can do to make sure that we hear the voice of the people who are going to be affected by what's going to happen within those parks. And so I want to listen to the people. I want to make sure we have a better relationship with the county and talking with them. I don't have a problem in talking to the county. I feel like I can talk to all 5 of them at any point in time and feel like we can have a conversation that helps us to be able to make the best decisions for the entire region, not just a part of it, but the entire region. So anytime I see something where there's controversy, I make sure that I call out those who are in charge of the project, who are working on that project, make sure I hear their voice, hear the people's voice, and then decide to move forward in support.
Next question. Why are you the best candidate to represent District 7? And we'll start with Mark.
Thank you. My experience, my call to serve, my energy, my purpose, my dedication to accountability and follow-through, dedication to the rule of law. It is specifically the fact that I have been a city attorney and general counsel. I've been up on the dais before. I have given trainings, Brown Act trainings and ethics trainings to council members and to commissioners. I have a very particular reason to run, and that's not going to go away. I told the council members when I was before them a year and a half ago, trying to get them to start thinking about a public cemetery. And when most of them ignored me, I said, I'm not going away. And I've said that in different interviews to the news in the past year. So I am dedicated. I believe in accountability and follow-through. This city has been done really well in planning for things such as the Vision Zero and Safe Streets to School program, yet it's not funded. Let's follow through on the things that the city has started with. Thank you.
And Rick?
Why am I the best candidate? I would not run initially when I started because Robbie Waters was not ready to step down. And so I made a decision that in order to prove to him that I would be the best replacement for him, I wanted to get his vote and his support. And so I told him I would not run until he told me I was ready to run. He told me I was ready to run and that he was not going to run again, so therefore I ran. And fortunately, I won. And I've won for 3 times so far, so a total of 12 years. And I continue to serve because I don't look at myself as a politician, I look at myself as a public servant for the people. I'm going to listen to the people, hear them, solve their issues, and try to do everything I can to make sure that they want to stay here in Sacramento for the rest of their lives, raise their children, their families, and continue to live here in Sacramento. So I'm the best candidate for all the reasons I said: homelessness, neighborhood safety, youth and senior services, and making housing more affordable. Thank you very much.
Scott?
I think I'm the best candidate because I live here. I drive, I walk the streets, I drive the roads, I go to work, I take public transit. I see the inefficiencies that are going around in our city. Right now, we are facing significant challenges with public safety, affordability, and economic stability. I was born and raised here, so this turf, District 7, is home to me. I know the streets, I know the ins and outs, I know the history of the district, which stores used to be there, what stores are in there now, why it failed, why hasn't it failed. I know ins and outs of this community, and that's what makes me the best council member if I were to be elected.
And the next question. What are your recommendations for dealing with the city's budget deficit? We'll start with Rick.
Okay. Wonderful question. We are in the process right now of looking at our budget, and I invite everybody to come to our meetings to make sure that they can hear what's going on and how we want to deal with the budget deficit that we find ourselves in. So some of the things that are best in dealing with the budget deficit is to take a look at each department and find out what it is that they are over or under as far as their services to the public, where it is that they may be able to trim and get services down. The thing that I want to make sure happens as we go through those conversations with each department is to make sure that we don't affect our youth and we don't affect our senior citizens in any way whatsoever. I want to make sure we look at every department and see where we can trim without cutting core services to our city of Sacramento. I want to make sure we protect core services, and I think that's very important because people depend on it, rely on it, and want to make sure that they have it in order to have their homes. So I think there's a red button out there. Yes.
Scott?
I want to protect core services, but the core services are to protect our quality of life in our city. We could do a lot of youth programs, we could do a lot of senior programs, but most importantly are the basic maintenance, the basic public safety, and making sure our city stays affordable. We're able to stay afloat. We're able to still live here. So when it comes to cutting services, we have to really consider, does it affect our quality of life, and will it really hurt? Who are we hurting when we do these things? So I'm gonna end with that.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you. Well, I've been saying all along when I've been asked this question, I would be cutting programs over people if you have to cut. I don't want any layoffs. And the programs that need to be trimmed or cut are the ones that you're not getting a return on investment, that the citizens, that we are not getting a return on investment. And that's going to take a little bit of study. That's great that each department is chipping in, but that's the normal, right? You go to every single department and say, okay, give me a 10% cut. But it's looking at the programs that we're getting the least benefit from. They're probably going to hurt people because every program has a purpose, and it should have a public purpose. But not affecting the workers, making sure we're able to actually increase the staffing where we need increasing to get a better core services. And by core services, I've got a broad definition of core services. It includes parks and rec and other things that other people might not.
Next question. What can the voters expect from you on environmental issues? And we'll start with Scott.
I am one that's very, very pro sustainability. I want to make it easier for people to save money when it comes to lowering their cooling or heating costs. Can we provide some insulation or weatherization plans, programs for our residents? In addition, I want to promote public transit reliability and efficiency, because I take the bus too. I understand that a lot of people, when it comes to ridership being low, is because of the reliability in our transit system. Can we include more park and ride options so that we have more accessibility for our residents? Like my peers said, our district is built out, but there's a lot of empty, underutilized lots that we could convert into park and ride options. A lot of people may find our bus stops to be inefficient. Can we update and expand our bus stop route locations? In addition to the environment, we need to really complete our bike trail network. There's many ways where we would like to have more alternative routes of getting around.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you. Actually, my undergraduate degree is in environmental science, pollution, and treatment, so I love the topic when it comes up. So I think of the question, and I think, what is it that on a city level can we do to help environmental issues? And it certainly is promote public transit. It certainly is finish our bike trail systems and increase the bike trail systems. It's promoting the city actually in their procurement process, purchasing electric vehicles over gas vehicles. It's in our procurement process of purchasing electric lawnmowers. We have plenty of them for our parks over gas ones. So we have to focus on what we can do on the environmental issues, and I think I'm ripe to handle those.
And Rick?
So for the last 12 years, I've also served on regional transit, and you've seen the conversion with regional transit as far as more stops, more transit-oriented developments at some of their stops, so that people don't have to get in a car and go to work. They can get right on public transportation on our light rail system or on our bus system and be able to get to work or get to shopping or whatever they may be. I'm also big on the trail network and what we're working on in the trail network. We've been able to complete part of the trail network. We still got work to do, but we're going to continue to move forward in doing that so that people don't have to take a car from where they live in Greenhaven Pocket, District 7, all the way downtown to the city of Sacramento or wherever they may be going. So take more cars off the street and allow more people to take public transportation in ways that they can make the air cleaner and make it more safer for everyone else.
Okay. Next question. Do you support the state legislation proposed to create a joint powers authority in Sacramento County to address homelessness? And we'll start with Mark.
Yes. Yes, I do support that. This is an issue that needs some new thinking, and this joint powers idea seems to be a really good way to change the dynamic that has gotten us stuck on homelessness, but especially between the city and the county. So yes, this seems like a pretty good idea and a pretty good way to essentially force collaboration of the city and the county on homelessness.
Rick?
I definitely support the Joint Powers Authority to address homelessness. This will be on our agenda this coming week, Tuesday, and it'll be an opportunity for me to voice my concerns and my opportunities and why I support this. But I think it is the best option on the table as far as the county and the city working together to address homelessness, which we've already talked about is a concern to some. But we have the opportunity to address it and to be able to work together. And I think the Joint Powers Authority is the best way to be able to do that.
And Scott?
I fully support the JPA. Right now, we can't be sustainable in our approaches with business as usual. Right now we can't, continue the status quo. And the JPA provides us the opportunity to get together and start talking about real solutions, what we can do together as one, and addressing these, especially the homeless issue right now. We need as many people as we can, as much people, the leaders together, to focus on the real solutions. So yes.
Okay, last question. Is there one particular issue or project that motivated you to run? And we'll start with Rick.
So when I first ran 24 years ago, the issue that motivated me to run was that I didn't feel my kids were getting the quality of education that would allow them to maybe go to college and be able to take care of their families in the way that my wife and I have been able to do for them. And so I got on the PTA, and I moved from the PTA to the board of directors. I served 12 years on the board of directors, and now I'm on the city council. So I've had the opportunity to serve, but that's what got me started. I wanted to make sure every child had the opportunity to have the best education possible and have great teachers and classmates and be able to go to school and learn without focusing on some of the other things that happened at that time. So that's what got me going. What has kept me going is I'm a servant for the people. I love to serve. I like serving the people, and I think I've done a good job, and I think we've seen results as a result of my service, and so I want to keep going.
And Scott?
What drove me to run was because, for one, I saw the failing economic state of our city. For one, I have to drive really far across town from where I live to access services, amenities. And in addition, I have to drive through on roads that are poorly marked, poorly striped. If you look around District 7, Freeport Boulevard, our Florin Road, there's a lot of empty stores. There's a lot of nothing to do in our neighborhood. And these were once thriving businesses, thriving areas, thriving public spaces that were, a lot of people were coming to. We're a destination center. And seeing the state of my district today, it saddens me, because that's where I came from, it's where I grew up. So what motivated me to run is to fully understand what's going on in our neighborhood, what's happening. And I want to take my expertise, my work experience, my background to bring about some changes.
And Mark?
Yes, thank you. What's motivated to me to run is the need for cost-effective, affordable burial spaces for the residents and the people of Sacramento. 2 years ago, my wife and I had to do the unthinkable. We had to bury our daughter. And during that process, we buried her at Oddfellows off of Riverside Boulevard. And we learned there's only five years of cost-effective burial spots left for all of Sacramento, a city of 500,000. All that's left is private cemeteries, which most of us cannot afford. And I took my daughter's death and used that energy to say, well, why don't we help the rest of the people in the future that are going to need to bury their loved ones or themselves? And I've been in front of City Council for over a year, pitching it, and not just pitching it, explaining the need for it, and I got mostly silence. And it's that silence from and the inaction from City Council that really drove me to be here today.
Thank you, candidates, for your good answers. We're going to start with closing statements now, and we will begin with Mark.
Thank you. 1 minute for closing. So the things that I really want you, everybody that's watching this, to take away is experience. I have the experience from day one to be on the dais. It's my experience as being a city attorney, enforcing the laws of the cities that I've worked for, and for the different government entities. I want you to understand that I have energy and focus, a purpose for doing this. And I also want you to realize that I am giving back. I'm doing this to give back to the community, to make things better for all of us. Yes, I'm in District 7. I'll be looking out for District 7, but of course, we're part of the larger city and the bigger county. So that is why I am here.
Scott?
Sacramento is at a crossroads. Right now, we are facing significant challenges with public safety, affordability, and small businesses. The real issue isn't just the problem themselves, but it's our district has been waiting far too long for real productive solutions. When we need someone in City Council who's committed to delivering real results. I've walked a path of hardship that many of our working families know too well. I personally lived the struggle, and I worked tirelessly to learn the city's systems, not to become part of the political machine, but to finally make these systems work for you. I'm running for City Council as your neighbor. This campaign is more than political grandstanding or empty promises. It's bringing accountability back to City Hall and making sure every family in this district has a seat at the table. I'm not asking for your vote just for a title. I'm asking for the chance to be your advocate. My name is Scott, and I hope to earn your trust and vote.
Rick?
Sacramento works best when neighborhoods are safe, families have the opportunity, and the city delivers basic services that people can count on. Those are the kind of things that I've been able to do in my time on City Council, and I want to continue to do that. We have had a 19% drop in crime year over year as a result of some of the efforts that we've put in working with our police department, working with our fire department, working with our community-based organizations. We have made a difference. We have put the trail network up so that people can now get on our trails and utilize them in order to go to work or just to have pleasure with their families on the weekend. We've improved our parks so that they can go and eat and have fun and enjoy. And we do things like trucks and such with a lot of activities and food so that people can come and enjoy without having to spend a tremendous amount of money. So I want to continue to work and do more, keeping Sacramento safe, keeping our district safe, and making sure that people enjoy the place that they live.
Thank you. This concludes our forum. Thank you, candidates, for running for this important office and for being here to answer questions from voters. So voters, look for that important pink envelope and return your ballot. Vote early. Don't wait until June 2nd to vote by mail or put it in a special drop box anywhere in the county. Locations are listed in the pink envelope. You can also vote in person anywhere in the county. Voting locations are in that pink envelope. You are a more informed voter, and we hope you will pass on what you have learned. You can also pass on a recording of this forum. A YouTube link to the recording will be available at our website, lwvsacramento.org, after the ballots go out, and on the website for Sacramento Metro Cable Television, Channel 14. Thanks to our league volunteers and the wonderful team here at Sacramento Metro Cable Television. Thank you.